I saw him walk in there because he's our lead. Oh,
This is News 6 Tonight.
hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday edition of News 6 Tonight.
We made
Friday.
it.
Oh, my
Woo.
gosh. Okay, we still have like 27 more minutes, but we're going to make it. I fully believe. This has been such an incredible and crazy week. And the story of the week has really been the weather. I'm Ginger Gadsden, by the way,
I'm
and my
Tylisa
lovely
Hampton.
co-host is
Hello.
Tylisa. Yeah, she's in for Matt tonight. We're so happy that you could join us. But we have been talking about the weather all week. Since last week, we knew
Yes.
some historic cold weather was going to come into town and hit us. And the reason we knew about the weather is because we have the best people in town.
We do. They warn us.
They warn us
Wear a
and they
trench
get
coat,
us
put
ready.
on a jacket, wear long sleeves.
They get us ready. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us now. And Jonathan, we're starting to see some of those things. It warmed up nicely today, right? But it did not start that way.
Oh my gosh, it did not. Have you guys turned the heat on in the house?
I live with someone who turned the heat on a couple of nights ago. I'm embarrassed.
You know, I turn the air on,
Okay. So
actually.
The
Bring
air,
me the
yeah.
breeze.
Yeah.
bring you the breeze.
Yeah.
Look at these temperatures this morning,
Oof.
guys.
Whoa.
Paisley won, if you want to call it that.
I don't know. Did they win? What did they
23
win?
degrees this morning.
I hope
There
they
was a
won
couple
coat.
of spots. What'd you say?
I hope they want a coat.
I hope so too. There were a few spots like just southwest of Jacksonville last night that got to 18 degrees. So, I mean, this was a big cold air mass. Ocala was at 24. We were in the mid 20s in De Leon Springs. That's DeLand, covered up by our heads there, and 29. Daytona Beach at 30. The Villages was at 26. Orlando hit the freezing mark. It's really hard these days for Orlando to hit the freezing mark, and we did
Yeah.
just that this
Wow.
morning. Gorgeous turnaround, though. The deal is we're not done. So tomorrow we get a nice break. We're going to get back into the 70s, but there's another big cold front coming. And I think we're going to wake up on Monday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, just as cold, maybe a degree or two warmer, if you want to call it warmer,
Okay.
than this morning.
Jonathan, I still have a couple of questions about today, though. Where
me.
did we break records? Didn't we?
We
did
broke a
break
record in
today?
Melbourne.
In Melbourne.
That's a good point. I forgot to mention that.
No, that's
33
okay.
33 was the new record, beating the old record of 34. So Melbourne broke a record today. That was the only spot that broke one. But that's
So,
impressive.
Jonathan, do we need a coat this weekend? Do we need a light jacket? I mean,
That's a
give me some
great question.
suggestions.
That's a great. Okay, so tomorrow, if you like the cold, maybe tomorrow the lighter jacket will be in the mid 40s versus the low 30s.
Mhm.
You'll be able to shed that quick. Like as soon as the sun comes up tomorrow, it is going to warm up fast. We're going to the 70s, and then the
Okay.
next front comes through on Sunday, and then that's going to take us back down to the 30s, and then back in the 50s for Monday. So if you need a jacket tomorrow, if you're not one of the hardy folk, we are going to be able to shed that quick. But it's going to be this crazy roller coaster ride. And I will show you coming up when we talk again in about 15-ish minutes where that next front is. and the tumble that we take. And something else that's cool, we talked about Florida snow potential. That
Yeah.
is still there on Sunday for some snow in the panhandle. And the crazy thing about it is the hurricane hunters, they don't get days off. They are flying a mission tonight in the Gulf to collect some data
On
to
snow.
help the forecast models for
That
snow.
is-
They are snow
That's
hunters, I
crazy
guess.
To me, when you said that, I'm like, is he right? What is going on? And I don't question you. I don't
I'm
question
not on
you.
something.
Like, no.
No, it's it's crazy. They get tasked with different research missions. They're flying the Arctic missions a lot, doing
Yeah.
research, climate research, things like that. But when these big atmospheric river events come to the
Mhm.
West Coast, they fly those to get more data. And in instances like nor'easters or this winter storm in the Southeast, potentially, we're gonna get some good data, and that's awesome. I love it.
I'd rather fly with them during something like this than an actual hurricane, though.
You might be able to hold on to your lunch a little bit more. Holy
Just
cow!
not
I don't know
much.
how they do it. I'm excited to talk to them, and I hope we get to. We were out there. Ginger and I was in Lakeland with the NOAA hurricane hunters. I
Oh,
hope we get to go
fascinating.
back out there again because they had some really rough
my gosh.
flights this hurricane season. Tonight the Air Force is out there at 7 o'clock this evening. The first flight. There's another one going out tomorrow to collect some data. So the Air Force has been tasked with collecting that data this time around. But I'm anxious to talk to them ahead. I mean, I'm not anxious for hurricanes. Whoa.
No.
All right. But I want to talk to those men and women that were in those flights that had to bail a couple times because the hurricanes were so intense this season. But that is a story
Yeah.
for a way another time. Hopefully,
No.
that does not come fast.
Not for today, sir. Not for today. We've
Thank
got
you.
No
enough
way.
to deal with. Yeah. All right,
Not for
Jonathan. We're going to
today.
see you in just a little while. But thank you for that update. So much going on in the weather department, but these are the guys who keep us up to date. Like I love our app because they're constantly sending up updates. And if you are caught unaware, then that's your fault.
I
You're
like
not watching.
bumping into them as I'm going into the building. I'm like, how's today going to look?
Yeah, because you're going to be
Are
out
we
there,
gonna be
right? Yeah,
okay? Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So we'll talk to Jonathan in just a little bit. Tylisa, you had one of the saddest stories I've heard in quite some time. You covered it last week, and it sounded so crazy. We talk about things like, oh, it was just a random crime. This truly was just something tragic and random at the same time.
Because I think what happens is we say random crimes. So the first thing you think about, well, was it random? Is there a connection there? But then the Ocala chief came out today and he said completely random, completely senseless. So all of this took place last week where a man, he was just minding his business, gardening in
This
the
is the-
afternoon, and it was the middle of the week. And then all of a sudden he was shot in the head. And the
Gardening. Well,
Gardening.
did he say the chief said that he was executed?
Yes, he
Yeah.
said it was execution while gardening. Those were the exact words right there. And I don't think you could even imagine putting those two words together in that same sentence, but that's exactly how he explained it. And he went on to say how he explained the background of this suspect because they caught this person like maybe it was the exact same day, only maybe a couple minutes apart from when they got the call to when police arrived, and then they only found that suspect just 2 blocks away from the shooting.
That's crazy. So you were able to do an update on this story today?
Yes, the police chief updated us in that video that he posted on social media. Here's what he had to say. Neighbors reeling from shock after Harold Harper was shot and killed while gardening in his front yard on January 7th. Police arrested 29-year-old Isaac Toy 2 blocks away. Officers were already headed to Southeast 3rd Street after a 911 caller reported a suspicious person with a gun who cocked his weapon while trying to stop the 911 caller from driving away.
We continue to believe this was a random and senseless act of violence.
The chief says Toy left his Tampa area apartment about 6 weeks ago and moved to Marion County, staying at a homeless camp near family in Marion Oaks. He was also receiving services from a church near Harper's home. 2 days before the shooting, Toy attempted to buy a gun but did not receive it due to the 3-day waiting period.
We are still investigating how he acquired the firearm used in this crime.
Investigators believe Toy traveled from his mother's home in Marion Oaks to Ocala and was seen on video downtown minutes before the shooting, but police have not determined how he got to and from Marion Oaks. And so, a couple things that weren't mentioned is that I was able to speak to neighbors last week. Those neighbors said that this was a man who loved gardening. He loved being out there. A man had said that he had been passing this neighborhood for about 10 years and he always saw him out there gardening. He just loved this so much. And they said that they could not imagine this happening to one of their neighbors, much less a nice man like this.
Yeah, and sometimes you get used to people who are fixtures in your community, and it's like, oh, there's Miss Smith. She's always out there
Yes.
doing this or that, and so people have become accustomed to seeing him out there gardening, and it was therapeutic for him as well as
Right.
what they were saying. So it's just one of those sad stories, and we're so sorry that happened in that community and to that man and his family. But I'm sure we'll figure out more about this suspect and.
He's due back in court in February, so
Yeah.
we're going to keep the public and everybody updated.
Okay, another story we have been following for a few days. Our community correspondent, Mike Valenti, does a great job in asking all the right questions. Yesterday, we started seeing things posted on TikTok and Instagram that ICE agents were actually in Central Florida. And, we've been keeping a close eye on things that have happened in Minneapolis and in Portland recently. So that really got everyone's attention. So that was Mike's story yesterday. And he was, because you can't go by what you see on TikTok or social media
You
and
almost
just
have
hearing.
to do a stakeout.
You have to. You have to figure out what's going on. And Mike was able to ask the right people all the right questions and figure out exactly what was going on. Well, today that escalated even more, and he was able to find out that federal immigration officials were actually in Orlando today conducting a site survey of a logistics center for a possible detention center for undocumented immigrants. So we sent him back out today, and he was actually able to talk to some people from ICE.
So you can confirm you're looking at this as a detention facility. I mean, it's a site that could fit that purpose, but I mean, we're at the very early stages.
Senior advisor for ICE, David Venturella, on hand for a site visit Friday at the Beachline Logistics Center. We have heard a lot of talk this week about ICE, including that they were thinking about using this logistics center on 8660 Transport Drive in Orlando as a facility to house detained undocumented immigrants. So we spent all of Friday here. Eventually, people we did not recognize arrived, more than a dozen of them, taking pictures of the outside of the building and then going inside. Among the last to leave, David Venturella with ICE. Eventually, Venturella did confirm ICE was here to scout out this building, but he said no decision has been made and no contract has been signed.
How many people ideally are you envisioning this would house? Again, we don't know. I mean, this is the first time we've looked at this facility, at least me personally. So, again, it's very exploratory at this point.
Being relentless and trying to get those answers.
And you know about that too. We all have to do it, and you have to ask the right questions, and you have to ask the tough questions too. And yesterday, he was, Representative Maxwell Frost was saying that he knew that ICE agents were in town because of hotel reservations. And so today, our Stephanie Rodriguez, another one of our community correspondents, is like, how can you confirm that? And they have had a group watching people, and they know when people come to town, and they know how many people come to town. So because we had just heard from him that, oh yeah, they made all these reservations. Well, okay, we have to go a step further and ask the questions like, how do you know they
Right.
made these reservations? Where did you get your information? So we also hold the officials accountable for their information as well.
And then it didn't even, I like that it didn't just piece together our interests, but also Commissioner Nicole Wilson of District 1. She was also out there because she was like, I saw her say, hey, I just wanted to come by to see what's going on at this facility because she had heard from people in District 1.
Yeah, it really gets a lot of people's attention, and you can bet we will stay on top of it and have our community correspondents asking all the tough questions and all the right questions, which is very, very key. All right, well, stay with us because when we come back, another tragic story at a theme park, another one involving a death possibly happening on a roller coaster. We'll talk about that when we come back. Yeah, and we got the latest from the sheriff just a little while ago, I think. So we'll make sure we have that for News 6 tonight. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We know you're busy, but news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
That's right. And this is News 6 Tonight, where we leverage this entire busy newsroom with our community correspondents, our producers, our content desk, and then we filter through that. We have a casual conversation about the news that impacts Central Florida.
Yeah, we live here in the community, and we rely on you for our neighborhood network because you're our eyes and ears as well, and we can't do it without you.
So you can watch us all over the place, YouTube, News 6 Plus app, and clickorlando.com. While you're here, feel free to engage. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
I think
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say. I mean, I feel like we live in Orlando. Theme park, almost capital of America. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like.
hey, oh no, not almost. It is. It is. Yeah.
And so I think the worst thing that you can imagine is losing your life on a ride.
Yeah, and we've had that happen a couple of times just last year. It's been kind of a scary time for us, but these things they're so different in separate situations. But when you hear of a theme park, someone dying possibly on a roller coaster, it gets your attention.
It does. So what got our attention is this quarterly public report from the Florida Agriculture Department, where they basically show serious theme park injuries both at Disney and Universal. But the one that we're talking about was at Universal. This all happened back in November. This report details that Universal workers, they found a 70-year-old woman unresponsive after riding Revenge of the Mummy. Now, this is an indoor roller coaster. It was open in 2004. That's when it first opened. Now, they're saying as of right now, there's no link to the roller coaster and the woman's death, only that the workers found that woman unresponsive after the ride ended. But I know that we have put in multiple reports to law enforcement agencies and Universal, of course, for more information on this.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, it really is eye-opening because after, in September, when there was someone who died as a result of riding Epic Universe's one of their roller coasters, right? And that case is still kind of going through the system. You would think that we would have heard something about this. This happened 2 days before Thanksgiving. Right? And so we heard nothing about it until this report came out. Because you would think someone would notice someone slumped over unresponsive after a ride and people would be posting about it. But we heard nothing on social media or any place except for this official report, which I find really fascinating and really interesting at the same time because people were on heightened alert after what happened at Epic Universe.
And then the report, it doesn't sound like it's even too detailed because it doesn't say, okay, how she may have passed away on this ride, just the fact that workers found her unresponsive after the ride was over.
Exactly. So we're not making the connection that the ride caused her death, just that she was unresponsive after being on the ride. All right, we're going to talk about something that I find fascinating. I love when we can talk about space stories, and we have the Space Coast, which is so interesting.
Will you go to space, Ginger, if they offer?
Why haven't they? I keep
that is the
waiting.
question of the hour.
And I don't want to do
Somebody
that.
contact Ginger
I don't
now.
want this Blue Origin thing where you go up and you come down, you float, and you have a little.
You're there for like 5 seconds. It's like, okay, bring her
I
back.
want to live for a little bit up there. I want to conduct some experiments, and I want to go.
Do you want to touch the moon?
No, listen. It's the possibilities are endless. But so we are about to take astronauts farther into space than they've ever been for a 10-day mission around the moon. And this is human space flight we're talking about. And the rocket that's going to do that, it's the Artemis. It's going to start rolling out to the launch pad tomorrow morning. I don't know if you've ever seen these things. Have you ever seen the rocket get rolled out?
I have not.
Okay,
I've
you're
not.
you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. Our Space Coast correspondent James Barbero has more.
Artemis 2 is the first mission in NASA's new moon program where astronauts will be riding on the 320-foot SLS. And before SLS rolls out, the mission managers are giving us an update. I want to ask them how quickly they can get the moon rocket ready for launch this time.
Artemis 1 took 8 months from rollout to launch. So could you talk about the lessons you learned the first time through this process that makes you confident that February could be feasible?
First off, it was a brand new vehicle, and we learned a lot during that campaign getting to launch. Without significant issues, if everything goes to plan, then certainly there are opportunities within February that could be achievable. Yeah.
Possibly launching as soon as February 6th, depending on a test at the pad to fuel the rocket. Saturday's rollout starts at 7 in the morning. We'll keep you updated how the slow crawl to the pad goes right here on News 6 and clickorlando.com.
Okay, Saturday morning it starts, and if you have any opportunity to watch it, Tylisa,
Yes.
it really, I mean, you're not going to miss it because it's super slow. It takes several hours to get it out of that big.
I mean, it looks heavy, okay? It looked like it's going to
really
take
heavy.
some manpower
But
behind
my hope for you is that one day you get to cover a launch or something out
I thought
there.
you were going to take a step further. My hope for you is you go up in space.
Okay, I don't know your dreams. I don't know your hopes or dreams. Do you want to go to space?
Couple seconds, then put me back down. I'm one of
Okay,
the others.
you want the up and down. You're a Blue Origin girl.
Yeah.
Okay, you can have that. I'm going to take the real. I'm going to go with NASA, and
I
we're
need
going to
a
go
day,
around
okay?
the
Just
moon.
give me
Yeah,
a day.
exactly. So we'll keep a close eye on that because it is really important for the next steps of going back to the moon. And people are like, how come we haven't been back in more than 50 years? And I think we're really going to see. We're about to do it pretty soon. That's going to be pretty spectacular when it
Can't wait
happens.
to see the pictures.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
Yeah.
I can't wait either. Okay. Something I can wait for, though, is the forecast we're talking about. Although I do like the cold weather. Jonathan, I saw your post on Instagram, and you had this mantra, I will not turn on the heat. And you're sitting there in your little knit cap and your jacket inside. I know, have you caved yet?
Yes.
His serious face. Yes, I
Yes.
have.
It didn't last long. I have a wife to think about.
I got
Oh
a
my
family.
I
Yeah,
felt,
and-
and the dog. They looked cold, so I'm like, okay, I gotta end this.
They looked cold.
They were huddled under a blanket. I'm like, okay.
Time to
Enough's
turn on the
enough.
heat. You fought the good fight. You fought the good fight. But you're going to have to fight
It
some
was
more
me
'cause-
being the wuss. Let's be honest. It was they were fine.
Oh
It was
my
me.
gosh. Yeah. So what do we have like on the horizon? Because you were talking about, I know you said it's almost like two fronts were coming through. We already got that
Yes.
first one. Is this the second one we're seeing?
This is going to be the second one. That's going to be Sunday night into Monday. I wanted to show
Okay.
you this first. While we were talking the first time, we had a new freeze warning come up. Now, this is for tonight. So it is going to be still, it's going to be chilly. For them still in Marion County, it is going to be warmer than what it was last night, but still around the freezing mark. So that's what the freeze warning is for. Everybody else is going to stay above freezing, though. It's just Marion County. Then you see that freeze watch, that light blue color for Flagler County. That's going to be for the stuff that's coming in on Monday. So let me show you exactly what you were asking. And this is the deal. So there's front number one. It's hanging out over the Bahamas. It's long gone. It's back towards Bermuda. Here is front number two. So this one's going to get ready to blast right on through. It's coming through Tennessee now, Alabama, Mississippi. This is going to arrive early on Sunday, but out ahead of it, it is warming up big time, relatively speaking. So this is the temperature change now over the past 24 hours. And yesterday at this time, we were talking about it being about 20 degrees colder. Now it's about 20 degrees warmer in places like New Orleans and
My
Pensacola,
goodness.
Atlanta, Nashville, because we are now getting that southerly push of air, which we will get into tomorrow to help push our temperatures back up into the 70s after the chilly start again. We're in the 40s right now, but again, it's all going to be about the chill that comes in on Sunday night. There is the cold air behind it, and it's even more brutal for the upper Midwest. The cold air behind this one is even more so than the one we just had. We should be a degree or two warmer, but I'm anxious to see if the model guidance kind of corrects itself now that we have the air mass in our upper air network and where we have the balloon launches and the surface data and stuff like that to see if it trends colder. So I think there's an opportunity for it to trend colder because it's colder in the upper Midwest today than it was with the first one that went through them a couple days ago.
Oh my God.
So that's the fun of forecasting.
Listen,
It's
I had
awesome.
to get out of my chair to take a closer look because I'm like, where is it one?
And that's what I was thinking. I was like one, and then you see the one all the way at the end of Florida at 65. I'm like, the
why
difference.
would you even bother reporting it's 1 degree?
It's a very lonely number, as they say.
Yeah. Okay. And look at that. When you say Florida snow, and I know there's a question mark behind it, but people will not see that question mark, Jonathan. I'm promising you that. They won't see it.
I think there's a decent shot though. I really do. I think there's that at least flakes. It's going to be so warm tomorrow that it might be hard for it to stick, and it's not going to be anything like that historic, ridiculous snowstorm that we had last year up there, where they had like 8 to 10 inches of snow in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
But I do think they will see flakes. I think the best opportunity for it to stick maybe is going to be right where you see that really dark blue south of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right through there, and then back up into parts of South Carolina. And again, this is what the hurricane hunters are out there. They're flying around the Gulf, where the kind of the moisture plume is coming from. So that way we're going to find out how much moisture that the front has to work with, and if we have it still left over when the cold air meets up with it. So that's the forecasting challenge with that one, is the cold meet the snow, or does the cold meet the moisture.
Fascinating, Jonathan. We'll see you and talk to you again at 9:30, where people can get even more information on that, because I know you have a great community of people who like to chime in on your talk. All right, Jonathan, we'll see you then. Thank you. All right, we will be right back.
Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down
Oh my
below.
gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh.
All right, I want to thank my lovely co-host Tylisa Hampton for joining us tonight, because you normally would be home by now and not
But
working.
I love this. It's a pleasure. The pleasure's all mine.
No, thank you so much, and stay warm out there. I know you're used to the cold weather.
And I like it.
Yeah,
I go out on that patio and I canoodle
I know.
up.
Okay. We're going to have more news coming up at 10 o'clock, including how some local lawmakers are reacting to the possible ICE detention center that might be coming to Central Florida. We'll have our investigator, Mike DeForest, talk about that. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.